cal coming. We'd had a major headwind.
Yeah.
And so I think it was 20 seconds
Yeah.
slower
Yeah.
from weekend to weekend. That's why times are fun to compare, because I think if you compared the the 2V times versus the varsity times, it was probably like 2 or 3 seconds difference, but you know the wind was increasing and the wind was building.
Yeah, shifting around. So here we got a great view of the race course, of the spectators all around here from the finish line out to Fox Point there, in the yachts as well, lining the cut. Great to have so many people come out here today to cheer on the Huskies and all of these athletes here.
So as we get ready for the Women's Cascade Cup, I think we have maybe an addition. I received a text from Yas Farouk, the head women's coach, and she said somehow the novices got put in the middle lane, but they might switch. So we're going to be looking here at the coxswains will help us dictate who's going to be in what lane. But it does look like lane 1 is in fact Seattle U. Lane 2 is in fact Indiana. And so now 3 and 4, let's take a shot. Grace Murdoch will tell us. Grace Murdoch is the 2V coxswain, and it looks like she's in lane 3 because I think the purple boat, the Jenny Vesnover,
in lane number 4. So
thank you, Jenny, for donating a purple boat because that helps us.
Easy to track for sure.
That is the novice boat. So the novices are racing in the Cascade Cup.
So we've got a good race here. We've got Seattle University, a Division I program from just up on Capitol Hill. Seattle University led by Jenny Park, class of 2008 for the Huskies. Expecting a good race from Seattle U. Indiana there in lane number 2. Washington, the lane 3 is that Husky 2V, and lane 4 is the Huskies' first novice 8. Will be to a start for them in just a second, but let's check in really quick on this Seattle University boat before we get a start. You can see the stroke seat of Washington pretty relaxed here. We got some time. Amina Malkin, your senior captain from Renton, Washington, along with her co-captain Ruby Batch from San Jose there at the stroke seat for Seattle U. Cami Torres, Katie Galatly, Meredith Robbins, Ava Hemrich, Sophia Jarling, Izzy Teal, and Maggie McKeon is your bow seat for the Seattle U crew. So see what Seattle U can do against this crew from Indiana there, also in the red next to them. And then you got the Husky boats there in lanes 3 and 4. We have a little bit more separation. Let the water calm down between these big Cascade Cup and Windermere Cup races before we send them on their way.
Yeah, so it's about 2 minutes to the official start. Officials can start races early if all crews are ready and they deem it necessary, but everyone's looking really relaxed, and you can see too the wind is a little bit of a tail breeze. Maybe that's why it's helping these times be so quick and fluid. But it looks like the coxswains aren't concerned about their points because they're not asking any of their bow seats or their 2 seats to make any adjustments.
We have a start.
Ready or not, the officials wanted to get this party started.
Get this moving. So that's Seattle U at the top of the screen. Indiana, the Hoosiers next to them. Lane number 3, we've got the Husky second varsity 8, coxed by Grace Murdoch there. And then in the south or the north lane, the lowest part of the screen there, the Husky first novice boat right there. Yeah, so it does look like that lane 3 boat jumping out on the lead early on here. Indiana,
as they should.
And that Husky novice boat, but pretty tight between those 2 crews early on.
Yes, the Washington 2V at lane number 3, the second from the bottom, they should be charging and they should be owning this race based off of past results. I mean, I know they've seen Indiana at the big race. There was like
the Big Ten Invitational.
The Big Ten, it was enormous.
It was huge. 18 teams racing there.
Mm-hmm. And so there was quite a dominant performance by the Husky 2V. But look at the bottom of the screen, the novices.
Yeah, you love to see it. You love to see the Husky novices doing well here. Taylor Inoni from Hawaii, your coxswain there, helping out that Husky novice boat. Leave Ormseth is your stroke seat from Vashon Island for the Husky novice crew. Good race by them. Let's see if they can hold off this Indiana 2V here. The Indiana 2V coxed by Rebecca Baker. Lily Hop is your stroke seat. Rhea Kearns is the 7. Gracie Landridge, Claire Hunsberger, Caroline Streiber, Kate Madden, Bridget Sutton, and Michaela Messinger in the bow. They're a transfer from Washington in the bow seat of Indiana.
Yeah, so the novices, they're in that purple boat on the right hand side of your screen. They have the advantage of just holding on to their second varsity eight. The big or the green can on the right is a great marker. We're well into the second 500. The novices, lane 4, are in second position, and they have half a boat length over Indiana's 2V. And the Washington 2V, the coxswain Grace, she's about to say bow deck, bow ball. Those are markers that she tells and communicates to her rowers, and it signifies that we are in charge and we're about to have stern deck overlapping bow deck. Let's get open water.
Yeah, and what a good push for Washington. They're getting that open water lead. I like what you see with that quick connection there. And the one thing we know, we got a lot of those Kiwi fans cheering on the New Zealand athletes here coming up, but we've got 6 New Zealanders here racing for the Huskies and Indiana. Shakira Mirfin, the 2 seat for the Huskies. Madeline Parker in 4 seat, and in the 7 seat, Olivia Hay for the Huskies. Those 3 Kiwi athletes, part of the process, the pathway to New Zealand's rowing success here. And it's been what an opportunity for them to race up here at Washington. Something the Kiwi coaches talked about was when they arrived here, they kind of see everything, and then you kind of understand why some of these Kiwi athletes want to come up and train at the UW.
So this is a great shot of bow seat is Jess Weir, and 2 seat is Shakira, and she is from New Zealand. So that is the 2 athletes in front leading the cruise. I always like to call them front wheel drive. Bow 4 is just, yeah, they have to follow stern 4, but they're really just making it easier for stern 4. So I really love to give love when I cox boats to say, hey, bow pair, bow 4, front wheel drive, take us to halfway point, which is 1,000 meters, and crews are just about at the 1,000 meters.
All right, and look at that novice boat for the Huskies doing great job here. Open water down to that 2V, but they are just stretching out the lead over Indiana now. Rhea Currens, Gracie Landridge, and Bridget Sutton are your Kiwis there that are freshmen for Indiana. Coach Steve Peterson's team's a pretty young team, but expecting great things. They're a top 16 ranked in the NCAA's latest rankings. They'll be at the Big Ten championships, and then hoping to make that NCAA championship as well for the Hoosiers. There's the Huskies looking very strong as they enter the cut, and the Husky 1V first novice boat as well, crossing into the cut ahead of Indiana now, looking strong as well. And we see how things shake out over these final 500 meters. You know that Grace is going to be really putting the pedal down to try to get this Husky 2V even more of a lead.
You could just tell the rhythm of this 2V boat. They are just, it's experience. There's a mix of seniors and juniors, and all the above, really.
Yeah.
but you can tell just the difference of just their attitude in the water, their confidence, the strength they have over the novice boat. And here is a good shot of Seattle U for just a hot second, but here is the Huskies. They are coming close to the bridge, and next time we see that shot of the bridge, I want you to see if you can see that or the yellow U and W painted on the Montlake Bridge. U is on the left, obviously,
Well,
and
and I
W is
like
on the right.
when we saw that above view of the Huskies, really good matching from this Husky second varsity. Ava Muehlman, your stroke seat from Seattle, has set a great rhythm for the Dogs all season long. Olivia Hay behind her, Emma Waters, Jordan Freer, Madeline Parker, Leah Nash, Shakira Mirfin, and Jess Weir in the bow seat. I think Coach Yaz Farouk has a very strong second varsity. We saw some great race results at that Big Ten Invitational. Fantastic against California last weekend, and looking really strong again here for the Huskies.
So this is a good shot of the novices, but yeah, in that second varsity, there are some women who were competed at the NCAA's in the varsity event. So the depth and the strength of this team, where they're key players, and they can mix and match. But where people lay right now, or where people sit right now, in terms of their power production, their efficiency to move boats, it's just very telling on how the team is growing and their speed is building.
Yeah, so a nice win by Washington. Here comes Indiana in the red over the line here in the last few strokes here. There's the Husky novice crew. Really strong race for those Huskies there in the Jenny Hogan, and you can see the Indiana Hoosiers over the line as well. Great race. Thanks for coming out. I really appreciate seeing that other Big Ten team here racing at opening day and Windermere. And one thing Coach Steve Peterson just raved about what an opportunity it was. What great hospitality from Windermere Real Estate and the University of Washington. What a fantastic opportunity for the women from Indiana to get to race here at opening day at the Windermere Cup. So a strong finish for the Hoosiers. We've got Seattle U in their last few strokes here. Seattle U coming up over the finish line now in that 4th place position. There's your top time. Huskies 2V coming away in 6:18.7. Strong race by Washington. Look at the crowd now. So this is what Mary was talking about, the get back. The job of the get back coach when you're the coach who's got to be at the finish line and just telling everyone to push back, stay away from the finish line, clear it so that we have,
because the Windermere Cup is coming.
Yeah, get organized so that we can have that parade back through the cut here as we finish up these final 2 races.
Man, one of my memories of racing and being able to be the varsity coxswain and racing for the Windermere Cup is just almost playing chicken. You're like, I know that there's going to be space. There are so many boats just on the other side of that finish line. There is a huge yacht waiting to start the boat parade. Hold my course because everybody's watching, and tell my crew to paddle as soon as we're across the finish line.
Yeah.
And then having to spin while crews are trying to get going. It's just chaotic and fun and a party. It was awesome.
And one of the other coolest moments that happens here as an athlete racing at Windermere Cup is when you're in one of these Windermere Cup races, you're the final athletes leaving the boathouse. And it is a really, really rare sight to see the Conybeare Shell House nearly empty. Like basically the only boats left in the boathouse are the small boats, the singles and the pairs. It's really almost eerily quiet. For many of these athletes too, it's their final race for these senior athletes, these seniors who have been here 4 years, some now with the COVID year, 5 years. But it's a cool feeling to just kind of be there, launch from the docks in kind of a quiet atmosphere, and then you're doing the warm up, things are a little louder. Then you hit the race course, things might be quiet at the start, and it builds and builds and builds. And by the finish line, it's one of the loudest races and loudest places where you will ever compete as an athlete in the sport of rowing.
It's pretty special, especially on the left hand of your screen. It's the warm-up area. So crews make a circuit of just going back and forth, warming up. You can see a crew on the left. I'm pretty sure that's one of the women's crew for the Windermere Cup doing their final warm-up series as the men are locked in to their stake boats, getting lined up. Who do we have?
We'll take a look at these 2 crews. So really talented crew from